Here's a better idea. Your 77 Ford dealer limited edition sale with great value like this new 77 limited edition Maverick. Up to $227 off sticker price when equipped with two-tone paint treatment, body side moldings, unique wheel covers, vinyl roof, and luxurious flight bench seat. That's $227 off on this special limited edition Maverick. Buy or lease now at your 77 Ford dealer limited edition sale. It's a better idea.
In the last video, we talked about how the government has used psychological research as a better way to arm ourselves against our enemies. This didn't really work out for them, and a lot of innocent people were hurt along the way. But today I want to switch gears a bit and get into how businesses utilize psychology in order to get us stay longer in their stores and buy more of their products. Overall, we know that businesses are there to make money, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But in order to maximize profits, certain businesses utilize tactics that are based on psychological principles and research. Now, the first and the silliest example of this, or at least it is to me, is labeling things as exclusive or limited edition. It's a highly effective tool because scarcity of any item immediately increases demand and perceived value of said item. This is why companies like Chanel and Hermes make people wait months for their $1,000 bags. And airlines and hotels do this too. Have you ever been on the computer booking a flight or hotel and it says, only one seat or only one room left at this price? But when I use my incognito browser, which I really encourage you all to try using, and do the same exact search, it suddenly shows only 4 left at this price, or there's no limit at all. By telling us there is a limited supply that is running out, it makes us think that if we wait, we won't be able to get on that flight or stay at that hotel. This fear of missing out pressures us to be impulsive and decide to buy before we're ready. Try doing a simple Google search about scarcity or limited edition items. You will find that almost all companies work this into their marketing plan in one way or another. Now let's talk about amusement parks and how they manage to keep us there, make us eat their food, and buy their merch. Aside from the obvious that they often don't let you bring in your own food, therefore you're forced to buy overpriced, not so yummy food while you're inside the park, amusement parks also do strange things to get us to think about eating even when we might not be that hungry. For example, Disneyland pumps in specific smells throughout their park, and some of these scents are designed to get us primed for our next food purchase. This works because when we're getting kind of hungry, our body intensifies its sense of smell by activating our CB1 receptors in our brain. And it does this to make it easier for us to find food, which, if you think about it, makes sense if we were still living in caves and had to hunt or gather all our food. Simply put, our sense of smell helps us find the food that our body needs more quickly. Disneyland, however, uses this knowledge to their advantage and will pump in a scent of, let's say, waffle cones being made, or maybe the smell of a corn dog being fried, to give us the time to think about the food that we want and decide we're going to eat as we, in just the right amount of time, find our way to the next food stand. They also even spray scents around rides to give it an authentic feel, like a damp wood smell that they pump into Splash Mountain that makes you think you're really, floating along in a hollowed out log. But amusement parks don't stop there. Did you know that some intentionally don't have shaded spots for us to sit and rest? Unless, of course, we make our way into one of their shops or food courts. And the black asphalt that they lay throughout these parks gets so hot in the summer, it's no wonder people wander right into much needed air conditioning and hopefully buy something. At least that's the amusement park's plan. I even read an article that said Disneyland has the AC cranked up so high in one of their shops, and it's the only shop that sells sweatshirts. Because without the psychological manipulation, who thinks about buying a sweatshirt when it's 85 and sunny out? This is all just so crazy. The next way that businesses use psychology to their benefit is called the foot indoor technique. And this was created after a study by Friedman and Fraser in 1966 showed that if we say yes to something small, like, hey, can I borrow a couple of bucks? We're more likely then to say yes to something larger, like, hey, can I borrow 20 bucks? Their study proved that as long as the asks are similar in nature, like you can't ask to borrow a couple bucks and then ask to copy all their homework, we can struggle to say no to the larger ask. And I honestly believe that this technique works because of cognitive dissonance, which is when we feel uncomfortable because who we believe we are is in some way contradictory to what we are doing. It's like we have new evidence that clashes with the way we believed ourselves to be. Do you think that relates here, or is it just me? The foot in door technique also works in the reverse, meaning that if we say no to a big ask at first, we are more likely to say yes to a much smaller ask. Like if a salesperson asks us to buy an entire line of beauty products, and then after we've said no, asks us if we just want to buy this $10 lip gloss. We are much more inclined to say yes to the second, smaller ask. This is called the door and face technique, and it was researched in 1975 by Dr. Robert Cialdini. He claimed this worked because of the principle of reciprocity, meaning that if we say no to a much larger ask first, we may in some ways feel that we owe them something, and therefore will say yes to the smaller ask. And finally, let's talk about subliminal messaging. Now, these are messages that are designed to go undetected by our conscious mind and to be understood by our unconscious mind. And yes, that sounds sneaky and terrible because it is just that. So many companies have been caught doing this over the years. Everything from soda companies showing sexy ladies in the sides of the bottles without us recognizing it, making us think that if we drink that, it's going to make us sexy, or we're going to be in a healthier, happier sexual relationship with someone. They've used a lot of sexual references, whether it be phallic symbols or the way that the bubbles arise through soda when someone's drinking it. All of these things to try to get us to think about sex because sex sells. There's also been different accounts of the music behind a commercial having words like you're hungry, hungry, or buy, and without recognizing that those words are what we're hearing, like I said, it passes our conscious mind and is heard by our unconscious mind. We can be influenced, and that's why it's so important that we stay mindful of who we follow and why. If following someone only makes us feel like we need to buy more things, maybe it's time to unfollow or mute them. Because after reading all about how businesses get us to spend more money on their products, I've realized that I can't underestimate the power of marketing and psychological research because they're utilizing all the tools in order to get me to make a purchase. And because I feel like we're being marketed to all the time, TV, social media, everything, there's advertisements everywhere. I'm personally just going to try to be a little bit more cognizant of what I buy and why. Is it because I felt influenced by what someone else said or did? Or is it because I actually need this item, or it's something that I've been saving up and I want to treat myself? So there's just certain things I think we should put in place so that we're all more mindful of what we buy and why. Were you as shocked as I was to learn all about this? I mean, I know that marketing plays a role in what I decide to buy, but I didn't know there was so much research to back it up, and that most companies utilize some psychological research in their own ad campaigns. As always, do you think I left something out? Are there other ways companies use psychology to manipulate us? What did you find to be the most interesting or shocking? Let me know in those comments down below, and I will see you next time for the final episode of The Dark Side of Psychology.